So Amelia Mitchell is a county extension coordinator with the Alabama Cooperative Extension System. In her role as Mobile County Extension Coordinator, Amelia leads a diverse team of over 17 community educators in providing research-based educational programs to the citizens of Mobile County. Although administrative duties in a large county can be quite demanding, Amelia still enjoys providing educational programs that address community needs. One such program is the recently launched Master Environmental Education, or MEE program, that teaches environmental stewardship to students throughout Mobile County. Amelia received her Bachelor's of Science degree in Food Science from Alabama A&M University in 2000, and she holds a Master's of Education in 2011 from Auburn University. Prior to joining ACES in 2005, she worked for 5 years in the food processing industry, which relates to her fun fact. Her fun fact is that the beef processor that she worked for provided the hamburger patties for Wendy's, fresh, never frozen patties, and Crystal's original patties. So at the start of each shift, Amelia got to taste the patties for consistency and quality. That's a job that I would love to have. I'll switch it
Believe it
over
or
to you.
not, believe it or not, I still love Wendy's, and we provided the patties for Wendy's. We also did a line for Burger King, Subway as well. And so, would you, out of those, Burger King, Subway, and Wendy's, out of those three, who do you think um, cared the most about food safety? Because there was one out of those that we were literally afraid to deal with because they wanted everything right. You couldn't mess up anything. If anything was off with the way that we processed their beef, we throw it away and we'd eat the cost. And so, thinking about what you know about those restaurants today, who would be your best guess?
I see Eric has a vote. You want to say
Anybody?
who, Eric?
Let's see. Let's go to see if I can go in the chat box. Wendy's. No, it wasn't Wendy's. It was actually Burger King. Burger King, I mean, they did not play. And I would have thought Wendy's, but definitely Burger King. Wendy's was tough too. With Wendy's, when they say fresh, never frozen, they meant exactly that. So, that's an interesting background. I think food science, which was what my degree was in. I don't hear a lot of people that I meet, even in recent years, that tell me, "Hey, I got a degree in food science technology." If they did, I'd definitely be shocked. There's still a few of us out there. But how I ended up with Alabama Cooperative Extension System is I was working at ConAgra Foods in Montgomery for several years now, and at that time, and then one of our cold storage units gave me a call, and they were asking me about a shipment or a supply of beef that we had sent to them. And she said, "Oh, when's y'all's last day?" And I thought, "Excuse me, what do you mean? When's y'all's last day? You guys are shutting down." I was in complete shock, and I asked my supervisor. I said, the lady from the cold storage unit said that we were closing. Is that true? And he said, "What? No, don't believe that. We're not closing down." Well, we did close down. She was right. And so it's funny how things work out, because during that time period, after I heard that we were closing, I found out for sure we were closing. I met someone from Alabama Extension, somebody that I used to work with years ago at another processing plant. And she said, "You really should check out Extension." And the only thing that I knew about Extension at the time was 4-H. Most people know us. Yeah, you're right. It was upsetting. That was hurtful how they did us. I'll never do anybody that way. That's for sure. But how I ended up down here in Mobile with Alabama Extension was through Kristen. Her name was Kristen Woods, and we're still friends to this day. And she's like, "There's a position available in Mobile County. You should check on it." And so I said, "Okay, I'll give them a call." Somehow, tell you how things work out. Somehow, I talked to someone on the phone. I did a phone interview. And so we were supposed to do a face-to-face, but somehow they called me into work, sent me an offer letter, called me into work, and that's the end of that story. I've been working with them ever since. So that was like 15 years ago. So that's how I say sometimes things just kind of work out for you. But I just want to give you guys, since my background, with my history, I didn't know much about extension. I figure a lot of people like you may not. Has any of you ever heard of extension? Who's familiar with Alabama Extension? So Boris, Creighton, Eric. So tell me, what do you know? You can chat it in the chat box. What do you know about Cooperative Extension? So when you think extension, what comes to mind?
I'm actually like from New York, so like I think of like the Cornell
Cornell.
Cooperative Extension that like we have all over um, upstate New York, and yeah, they work with like education and agriculture and environmental stuff. I guess like that's what I think about is like yeah, helping teach people about agriculture and best environmental practices and stuff like that. They do a lot of programs for like kids and stuff.
Very good. So that's absolutely right. We're most often noted for agriculture because that's our flagship program, agriculture and 4-H. But yes, environmental information, anything, basically we are teaching now the entire family. So that's the farmers, the consumers, the youth. So right now at this point, we are trying to touch the complete family with some form of education. I see somebody mentioned we were taught a beekeeping or bee science course through the extension program earlier. Indeed, education outreach, very good. We are known definitely for education, and we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. But we'll go ahead. What I'll do now is I'll go into my quick little PowerPoint presentation, and we'll talk about some of the things that we are doing locally. Can you see my presentation? I can't hear you.
Yeah, it's switched over.
Okay, so are you seeing one slide at a time, or are you seeing all the slides?
It's currently got everything pulled up. I think you just need to click from the beginning to have it be full screen. There you go. It's switched over.
Very good, very good. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. Basically, just talking to you real quickly about what ACES is. We have many names out in the community, and I think that's to our detriment. Some people know us as the local extension office. We're referred to sometimes as the Alabama Cooperative Extension System, Mobile County Extension Office. So many names, but basically, we're ACES. We're Alabama Extension, and we're just like one of you guys just mentioned. We provide education. That's our business. But what we have is an organization of educators who take research from our land-grant university. So my employees at the Alabama Extension Office here in Mobile either work for one or two of the land-grant universities. So there's about 17 employees there, and half of them will work either for Alabama A&M University, and the other half will work for Auburn University. So it's dependent upon what program area they will be teaching. Now, in a lot of cases, Alabama A&M's programs and Auburn's programs will be somewhat similar, but their target audience will be different. Like Auburn University is more of our traditional type programming, where our Alabama A&M programs are more urbanized. So they're geared toward our urban areas. Okay, so educational opportunities are available to help people either individually or collectively make decisions about their lives. So basically to improve the quality of their life and their economic well-being. That's the whole purpose of extension work. So one of the good things about extension work is we can tailor it to your individual needs. So, we're constantly asking to come out and do programs, and each program that we provide may not fit for each organization. So we have the ability to kind of tailor our programs to fit your needs, and we're mobile. We're able to come to you We do offer opportunities where you can come to our facility. We have programs throughout the year at the Extension office, but for the most part, most agents are what we call regional Extension agents. So they're covering more than one county in the state of Alabama. Usually right now, those agents may cover, there are a few that only have 2 counties, but for the most part, they are covering about 7 counties. And so something changed some years back in 2005. Extension in Alabama did some restructuring. And so in the olden days, as Extension agents, they tell you, okay, you're gonna, as a county Extension agent, you're gonna learn about a lot of different programs. You may have to learn about 7 or 8 different programs and then provide that training out in the community. Well, now we've changed the way that we do things. So we are allowing our agents to specialize in a certain area. So for example, my background was food safety. So I'm geared toward food safety programs. And in particular, one of the ones before I became the county extension coordinator, one of the programs that I spent a lot of time doing was the Serve Safe Food Safety Certification Program. And if you, is anyone familiar with Serve Safe? Not right off the top. I mean, yeah, that's fine. So with Serve Safe, it is particularly geared toward food service operators or food service managers. So be it a restaurant or be it school food service, we teach and train them on basic food safety. And the beauty of Serve Safe is it's a rigorous program. It's actually a 2-day workshop where clients have to sit through those 2 days and they have to score a 75 or above to get that certification. And if a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, all the time, if a restaurant does not get that certification, they cannot operate. They get several opportunities to get it. However, so the first time, if they fail, they put them on, they take away some points. That second time, it may be a fine or something like that. That third time, they cannot operate. So they've got to find someone within their organization, their operation, that can pass that examination. So, it makes me feel better that people that are handling our food out in the public go through some type of food safety training before they handle our food. So that's a good thing. And throughout Alabama, Extension is working for and with the citizens of our community. So, we do a lot of on our own type programs. We try and anticipate what our community is needing. But we do a lot of partnerships. And so hopefully by the end of this, you'll have some ideas for partnerships or maybe some volunteer opportunities with us that you may be interested in. Okay. So a couple of things that our local extension office does, I'm going to tell you, no 2 days are alike. So if you're a person that gets tired of the same old thing every single day, then you definitely need to look at extension work. It is different every single day, almost every single day. And so some of the local services that we offer are things like troubleshooting. So for example, and farm visits, we'll go ahead and loop those both together. So if our farmer is having issues on his farm, he can call one of our regional extension agents and they can come out to visit his farm, kind of troubleshoot and see what's going on and make recommendations to help them. We also do soil testing. Pretty much right now, as it stands right now, you can go by the extension office and just pick up a soil test kit right on the outside door. So, the coronavirus has made us change the way we do a few things, but it's working for us and our clients. So that's one thing that you can get from our office. We issue grower permits. So, if you are wanting to sell at the local farmers markets, you can come by and most often they will require at least for you to have a grower permit if you're going to sell produce in our local county. And so you can pick that up from our office as well. And of course, the Serve Safe testing that I mentioned. And guys, you'll find that we do a lot of things through Extension, but I'm just going to hit on a few of them. and try not to bore you too much. But like I mentioned a while ago, education is our business. So we're all about training. We're all about providing educational resources, be it webinars, be it videos, be it just basic trainings, to provide our clients and the people of Alabama with the things they need that are within our wheelhouse. I know. So how it actually works is once a year, really around this time, we get together the key stakeholders in Mobile, so in our community. And so we have a roundtable discussion, and we try to address or discuss the key issues that are impacting Mobile County. And so from that, we take that back to our state level administrators and our specialists out at Auburn and Alabama A&M University, and they develop the programs. So we take those programs and we bring them back to the community. So that's where we get that extension name. So we're extending that information and that research from our land grant research-based universities out in our communities. Okay. And so some of the educational programs that we offer, of course, are our basic agriculture programs. And that's a picture of James Miles. He works out of our office doing a site visit. Probably looks like he may be out at Sessions Farms. We offer programs in forestry, wildlife, and natural resources. We are actually filling a position as we speak. Actually, in the next couple of weeks, we'll be doing the interviewing for this position, looking for somebody to fill a role in forestry, wildlife, and natural resources. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a little something different. So, I said a while ago that we try and address community needs. So one of the needs that's come up, you may know PJ Waters, but anyway, we have some oystermen, which is good, and they're wanting to grow and harvest their own oysters to sell. Of course, well, they say not to sell, but maybe to sell. Maybe their end goal. And so we're looking at developing a program for them, specifically for them, to teach them how to do it safely. All right, so we've kind of figured out, people tell us, hey, it's going on, even though that it's against the rules and the laws now that shouldn't be doing it. Well, unfortunately, people are doing it, and so we have got to get ahead on it and make sure if it is happening, it's being done in the right way. So that new natural resources agent will take on some of that responsibility. And so they'll be working with some of those local farmers to get them to where they need to be. We also have other programs, and we call these human sciences, and it used to be called human nutrition, diet, and health, but our human sciences program deals with nutrition, also family and child development. Let's see what else. I think seems like I'm missing something else there, but we'll talk about human sciences more in just a minute. Economic and community development. We're always looking for opportunities that will impact the economy and the community down here. One of the smaller projects or smaller things that we do is the cottage food law. You've probably heard about people that wanting to prepare food and sell it from their homes. Well, they can go through a cottage food law class, but they can only prepare certain food items, and they can sell it from their home. So they're not supposed to take that food from home and sell it out of the grocery store or the gas station or anything like that, but they can sell it directly from their home. 4-H and youth development, of course, is again, like I mentioned before, it's big. It's one of our flagship programs, and some of the programs that we do with them, of course, are our summer camps. It's just really something ongoing all the time. And one I'll name in particular that this sweet coronavirus kind of held us from finishing off this year was our plan was to link our growers, our farmers, with our up and coming chefs. So we had received some funding to kind of pull them together and link them together, and that way we can inform our farmers on where to go to, or not our farmers, but our chefs on where to go to source out the food. And then we can let the farmers know what it will take to provide the food to a certain restaurant, because there are guidelines there. And of course, lastly, the urban, new, and non-traditional programs that are available through Alabama A&M University. And again, they consist of some of these same programs that I mentioned before: agriculture, forestry, human sciences, economic and community development. Again, just targeting our urban areas with those. And here are just a few examples of some of the agriculture programs that we have available in our counties. I think I heard somebody mention that someone from our Master Gardeners class or that's did a program for you guys, which is awesome. That is definitely their role. Their role is to extend what we do even further. So we're always looking for Master Gardeners. Mobile County is huge. What do we have? About 414,000, or maybe a little bit more citizens here. And so, with 17, even with 17 staff members, there's just no way to reach all of the people that we could be reaching. So, if there's ever an interest in becoming a local or a Master Gardener here in Mobile, please reach out to us. And I won't mention all of those, but there's farmers market, growers food safety programs. Again, with our farmers now, and I want to say that Cornell University started with the FSMA rule. Well, started doing the produce safety training, and so we are actually using their curriculum to teach our local farmers about food safety. I mean, it's big. The expectations are high as far as food safety. And the wonderful thing is that our farmers are taking it on, and they're happy about it. We want to produce safe, quality, and wholesome food, so that's a great thing. We offer recreational fish pond management workshops and beef cattle marketing programs. And here are just a few here. We got our human sciences I mentioned before: nutrition, diet, and health, food safety. 4-H falls in there too: consumer resources management, family and child development. So on the family and child development piece, one of the things that we do is offer, and it's usually a yearly, once a year program for all of our daycare providers. So we train them on ways to handle, to be safe and have a safe environment for the children, and help them get their certifications that they'll need. Few more programs here. You got workforce preparation, resume writing, things like that will fall into there. Teen leadership, health issues. Obesity has and always been a large issue that we continually are trying to work on and deal with. So health issues there, non-traditional ag, and community building initiatives. So other initiatives that we kind of take on, state health initiatives. So you've probably heard of Scale Back Alabama. We were very much involved with Scale Back Alabama, and unfortunately we had to go ahead and cancel it for the rest of the year, and we'll pick it back up next year. Okay, our family programs. Here are just some more. We participate in health fairs. We're constantly trying to get the word out about extension and what we do. Guys, I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, extension, what is that? So, it did my heart well just to hear you guys say, oh, I've heard of extension. So that's a good thing, because as busy as we are, you'd think everybody would know about extension and what we do. So my challenge to you is to share this information with people that you know. There's some great opportunities within extension, and I'll talk to, and hopefully I can show you a couple things before I wrap up here. So some other things, economic development, leadership development. We do some, leadership training opportunities. We kind of, since Mobile is big on this, Mobile's chamber is big on leadership development, we kind of steer clear, but we also participate and help them out there. But in other counties, they offer the leadership piece in probably almost every other county besides the metro areas, because the chambers are taking care of that. Environmental quality and community health and tourism are all big and important. So you see, I'm sorry, and I don't mean to bore you, but we cover a lot of ground. So here's our 4-H and our youth development. It just lists some of the clubs that we have, our traditional clubs, but we also do enrichment programs, community service, leadership development for our kids, talk to them about citizenship and career development. So again, we are touching every part of the family, and which is our goal. Some volunteer opportunities, maybe I mentioned a thing or two that pique your interest. I know what our Master Gardener, Mobile County Master Gardener program is a big program. We probably have the largest Master Gardener program in the state. I want to say we have about 140 to 150 members involved there. And still, guys, to make the impact that we need to make, we need even more volunteers. We need volunteers because, especially with what we're dealing with now with COVID, none of us knows how that's going to affect our bottom line, our budget as we move forward. We hope that it doesn't affect it much, but you also have to be realistic on things of that nature. So, but the Master Environmental Education Program, the MEE program, is a new program. We launched it in October. It started October 1. We started a little bit early. Actually, our launch date was October, but we couldn't wait. And so we started in September, and that it really took off. So we trained about 25 master environmental educators to teach environmental stewardship. So what they do is they get trained. They go through this one full day of training, and then they sign up for opportunities to teach. And we are primarily teaching in the Mobile County school system. So, it was a busy year until things got put off and things got delayed because the schools were closing. But I am really looking forward to that Master Environmental Education program blossoming. I can see it because after that training, I had many people. I think I may have like 12 people on the waiting list that is really wanting to get that training so that they could teach it. So hopefully that's something you'll be interested in. And the beauty of it is that you only have to teach. I mean, it's about 13, 14 lessons, but you can teach whatever you like. If you are mostly interested in backyard habitat or stormwater pollution, whatever it is, you can just only teach that, and everything you need to teach it is right there. It won't be, you'll have a few slides, but most of it will be demo, and I think that's what the kids appreciate, that the hands-on learning. Of course, Mobile County 4-H programs are always needing volunteers as well. Of course, we have a large 4-H program. We would love to see more growth. Our biggest challenge with our local 4-H program is our middle to high school. So if you have any ideas on how we could reach this middle to high school, we were hoping the Master Environmental Education program would be that, and we're getting our middle with them with that program, but it's the high school that we still need some work. So if you can think of some ideas or some things that we could do to reach that high school audience and just maybe keep them engaged. I know they have so many other things going on and some other things that are piquing their interest at that age, but I'd be interested in knowing if there was something else out there. We also have sister agencies. So in our extension office, we have our local extension office there, of course, and we have the farm service agencies there, the Natural Resources and Conservation Services there, and ALPHA. So we all work together to address, to take care of the needs of our local farmers. So that's actually how we all ended up together. Was we were probably about 30, we've been there 30 years. So 30 years ago, they were looking for a one-stop shop for everything for the farmer. And so you may hear about the Farm Service Agency if, let's see, if for now the big thing is here is if, say, for instance, you suffered some damage or loss as a result of a storm, and you could reach out to them and they could help you with that. Same thing with NRCS. They may be able to, depending on what you're doing, they may be able to help you out with funding. And Farmers Federation, the same as well. They definitely do a lot to help the community. They are big supporters of our 4-H programs, and we're very happy that they still see the value in helping you there. All right, and one thing I wanted to show you, and I don't know if it'll let me click. Yep, I think it will. It's doing something. Can you see it? I just wanted to show you about the career opportunities within Extension. Let me see. Can someone
Yeah,
speak and let me know?
it's pulled up.
There? Okay. All right, so as you can see, you know, despite what's going on, we are still hiring and we still have opportunities available. However, you know, we don't have anything for Mobile. We have that one position, forestry and natural resources position, and we've closed that one. But go to aces.edu, and at the very bottom, it says jobs. And so you can click there and it will take you to this site that I'm showing you. But, you know, if you're looking for a position, it could be next year or whenever, or you may know someone who would be a good fit for some of these positions, please send them my way or send them our way, because there are lots of positions available. And of course, with Extension, and I have to put this out there, you know, it's not like private industry. You know, private industry, you may start working and make $60,000 right off, and you know, it just does not work that way. But if you are looking for something that is definitely fulfilling, this will be your place. Extension is a good place to take a look at, and I would tell you, if it's something that you may be interested in at some point, the biggest thing I've been seeing with my applicants is, you know, Extension is kind of finicky. It's kind of funny in that if you hadn't worked for Extension, it's hard to have a background in this type of work. And so I tell people, if there is ever any desire, if you think there may be a desire at some point to get involved with Extension and what they're doing locally, I would suggest to participate in some volunteer opportunities. So get with someone at at some time within your career, and it can be a one program deal, but at least you can say, you know what, I volunteered. I kind of know what Extension is about, and I may be able to bring some value, you know, because a lot of times we get these applications and they have, there's no relation, you know, and so we'd love to have somebody that takes an interest kind of early on. Let's see if I can get back here. I hope I hadn't bored you to death. This just says for more information. So we have a wealth of information on our ACES webpage. I'm gonna click here since I got lucky just a minute ago. I'm gonna take you right back. So here is our webpage. And one thing that I like is, so you can go directly to your county office. So if you're looking for Mobile, you can just click here. They wanted to know my location because they're probably gonna, oh, they didn't do me right. So they took me to Clark County. I thought when they asked that question, it was gonna take me directly to Mobile. But someone is needing some information pretty much on anything, agriculture, family related, there's, like I said, there's a wealth of information here. But the thing is, check out all of the different languages this information is available in. So, I mean, I never thought I would be looking for some information in Lao, Cambodian, but I was not too long ago. So you never know. Okay. All right, and so this just talks about us. But you know, we mentioned we're made up of the two land grant universities, Alabama A&M and Auburn. We help millions of Alabamians, and we use a variety of methods to reach our communities. And so partner with us. There may be opportunities to partner or volunteer, or just if you simply want to learn more, just go to our aces.edu website. Yeah. I think I'm getting close to, this is just thrown in there. We get all kinds of issues, kinds of issues, kinds of questions. People are always calling the extension office. They need help with this. And some of the questions you think, well, like one last question I think I got was, well, I left my eggs in the car for like 5 days. Can I keep them? And I'm like, oh Lord, if you got to think to call and ask, then you probably know. But we deal with all sorts of questions, but we're happy to help and happy to be called upon, really. And then the last thing, which is more important now than ever for everyone, to complete the 2020 census. So look, local extension is pushing this very hard, because we know that, you know, this is linked to our funding, and funding is very important to us at a critical time such as this. Is very important to your community, your health care. I mean, it's tied to a lot of important things, number of representatives. It's tied to a lot of important things in your community. And so if you have questions about the census, then check it out, look it up, but most importantly, make sure that you are counted in the Alabama 2020 census. Okay, all right, and I think that takes care of it for me. Let's see what I need to do here. I'm going to stop sharing and see.
Yeah, one of our leaders, I think either is it Creighton or Britt today, is going to kind of pick through the questions that came up in the chat box.
Great deal. Hold on. How can I see you guys again? I see that my video is on.
I think it might have just gotten minimized. You should be able to pull it up on one of the tabs on the bottom.
To meeting, there it is. All right. Okay, so you can start with the question.
Cool. Let's see. I'm looking for a good question. Well, Ashley, do you want to ask your question? Or actually, I'll ask it for her, because I know that her audio is unreasonably loud. Says, I know from a previous position I worked in Louisiana, 4-H was huge in their school systems. I have never seen it in my school system, though. Are there any schools in Mobile County area associated with 4-H clubs?
Yes, there is. There is. We are probably in about 25, 20 to 25 schools, and we're mostly in out in some of these rural areas. We're working to get into, we'd love to be in every one of the schools, quite honestly. But it is kind of hard with a small, group of employees. So what I have, or who I have currently, is I have one 4-H agent, and then I have 2 agent assistants that kind of help her out. But the challenge there for us locally is we have got to do a better job at volunteers, at engaging our volunteers to go out into the schools. I mean, we've got 54 schools in Mobile, so it's pretty hard for us to have a consistent presence in the schools. So I challenge myself and my staff to kind of work on that, and I'll definitely take that back. But yeah, we're heavily involved in the schools.
Cool. Camille has a question related to employment. If you want to ask if your audio works.
Yes. I was wondering if a bachelor's was required for this position, or if its experience could also qualify a candidate for the position that you mentioned earlier.
Bachelor's. So with the two universities, that is a definite requirement that you have at minimum a bachelor's degree. But the good thing about extension is once you come in, that following year you can get your master's. And I got mine through Auburn, and I'd like to say I may have spent throughout the course of those 2 years getting my master's out of pocket maybe $1,500, something like that. It wasn't much at all, maybe not even $1,500. So it's almost, I won't say free, but it's pretty close to it. And you get the time to get your degree. All right. So one of the other things that I didn't mention about extension work is you got the ability to work your own schedule. That's what it comes down to. You work your own schedule, and for the ones of us with families, that's golden. That's golden. So even now with my daughter in school, I hardly ever, I mean, it has to be something major if I miss out on a school function or something that's going on at school, because I'll work my schedule in a way that I can get over there to her school and see what's going on. So again, we may not pay the largest salary, but there are perks, and like I said, just the joy for me of being able to help people solve their problems, or providing a service that they didn't even know was available to them. Just kind of gives me joy.
Thank you.
Cool. You kind of started to go along these lines, but Austin asked a more of, I guess, a personal question about your position. If you want to ask your question, Austin.
I just ask what tends to be the most challenging part of your work, and how do you handle this?
It's easy, but I'm scared to say. Okay, so it's also the thing that I love. Again, I said that before. I get a great sense of accomplishment and pride from helping people, but sometimes sometimes our farmers can be a little tough. They can be a little tough. So that's probably the biggest thing. And then, like in the role that I have, management, supervision is tough. It's tough because you almost have to have a certain kind of personality or something about you to properly supervise people. You got to treat people right. But there are a lot of different personalities, and that can be hard. So for me, for this position, it's definitely the supervision.
Cool.
And I see a question over here about a current issue that the program focused on during COVID. Okay, that was Boris. Okay, good deal. All right, so let's think. We focused on several. Farmers market was a big one. Because we closed down. The farmers markets were closed for a few weeks. But that was drastically impacting our farmers. It also provided a way for our elderly, our senior citizens to go and kind of not be in an enclosed place. They can go and pick up some produce and that kind of thing. So just coming up with some policies and some procedures in place that we can get the farmers markets going and limit their time being down. That was our biggest thing. But I'm gonna tell you what another big thing was. Extension is known for, we do a lot of face-to-face meetings. And so with COVID-19, it has really changed the game. We knew, we were looking ahead several months ago, and we knew we had to make some changes because a certain group were just not into coming out to extension programs. All right. So some people will say, well, if I need information, I'll use Google, but we hang our hat on the fact that our information is research tested. But anyway, COVID-19 has kind of pushed us into a new day. And so we're moving forward. And as you guys are doing the same, I'm sure, we're moving forward in providing digital programs. On the one hand, it's a territory that we hadn't gotten into before. And so when you start thinking about how much information that we make available digitally and how will this impact our workforce, it's scary in another sense too.
Cool. We've got a bunch of new questions. So Eric has a question related to volunteer opportunities. He also had a question about some of the pictures you showed earlier. If you want to ask your questions, Eric.
Okie dokie. You said that there were volunteer opportunities, but could that possibly lead up to possible employment? And were those
Yes.
In the last couple of slides that you had showed about the questions that people come in with?
Yes. Wasn't it huge? Right. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, those volunteer opportunities can definitely lead that way. And that's why I say, if there may be an interest in that or, anything, consider, when you're thinking about ways to set yourself apart from other candidates, then definitely volunteer opportunities are the way to go. So I know sometimes we're like, well, we're not getting paid to do this and that, but it's definitely beneficial. Okay. And one more thing, we were not able to do this year. I plan to offer a summer internship next year. So we've been doing that for the last couple of years. And so we give them a particular task to work on for the summer, basically learn about extension. Our last one did a video, worked on a video to kind of showcase extension. And so it's not totally complete, but that's just an example of something that we can work on. And now that summer opportunity is, we pay for that one.
Kind of related to that, Carrie mentioned, I think it's a good question, where would people go to sign up for volunteer opportunities? What's the process for that?
And it would be to call our local office and get placed on our list. I wish, and we haven't gotten there yet, we definitely need to work on some kind of database, an online database for that, and we have not. But so for right now, at this point, we just call and you get directed to the responsible person, which may end up being me or the 4-H agent. So.
Cool. Cody, did you want to ask your question? I know she had sort of already mentioned about that, but maybe she has some specifics.
What's it? What was it?
Do you have any online / in-person educational programs coming up? I'm not sure if Cody's audio is working.
Online, let's see what I have coming up. We just had a pond management workshop Friday. Let's see. you may not be interested in those. We're getting ready. We're going to do a virtual canning series, so food preservation series that starts June 22nd. I see that one. And it looks like things have, which is maybe a good thing, things have slowed down a little bit until we figure out how soon we're going to get back into the office. And I think that's where we are now, but I don't see anything major coming up other than the canning series. And the canning series starts June, hold on. June 23rd at 2:00. So, but yeah, so that's the big one that's coming up. We're still in limbo on when we're going to go back into our offices. The last thing they told us for the state is that they are encouraging us to go back into our offices on June 30th. But I'm going to be a hard head since I'm here in Mobile. I was like, I've got to think, I've got to think for my folks, and they'll have to come down here and kind of get on me if they want to. But we will probably be later in July before we open our doors back, just because we don't know right now, and we know that the numbers are going up, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, definitely understandable. A couple questions I had, two things. I was just kind of curious with the environmental educator program, if you're familiar with Project Wet and Wild, if that's part of it at all.
A little bit. Tell me more about. I've heard of Project Wet and Wild. We're not doing it locally at our office, but I have heard about it. Who is that? One of our extension programs that's maybe handled at the state? Do you know?
I just know it's kind of like it's like a national curriculum training.
Yeah.
It's for training teaching kids about nature and stuff.
I would bet that a lot of that information will overlap in the Master Environmental Education program. Now, Wet and Wild in particular, I don't think it's in there, but I'd imagine some of those activities are gonna overlap in there. The Master Environmental Education program, it's just it was developed in Baldwin County. Probably about 10 years ago. And so we just adopted it over in Mobile. So
cool. My other question that I thought of, I've always kind of been confused about like extensions, like whether they're like, are they state positions? Like if you were to work for them, do you work for like the state and get state benefits, or do you work for the university? Like where?
So it is. So it is funny. You're right. So it's kind of funny. So you work for the university. So if you are hired for extension, you will either work for Alabama A&M or Auburn University. So one of those institutions will be on your pay stub. I'll say that. What was the other question? Oh, benefits. We receive pretty much the same benefits as a state funded position, as a state job. So that's one of the good things about extension work. So we are part of the retirement systems of Alabama. So we're good to go there. And just so you know how extension is funded, we get some federal monies, probably between 20 to 50%. We get federal money. We get state funds. Depending on what they're given at the time, probably about 20%, 10% or better. And then we get local funds. So our local county commissioners provide our space for our offices, and they help us with special projects throughout the year. So our local county government, especially as far as Mobile is concerned, is very, very good to our local office. And so we're just blessed in that respect, because I do know some counties, some of our less off counties who may or may not get any funding locally. So that's how we make it, and that's how we're able to have a staff as large as the one we have. So.
Cool. And then one last question from me. We like to ask all of our presenters. A lot of our members really like to read, so I was just curious if you had any reading material that you'd suggest for people that maybe relates to the things we've talked about.
I don't. I've been reading some other stuff, but as it relates to extension and what
Personally, I'm not a reader myself either.
yeah,
so.
I could do better about it. You guys are showing me up now. I could do better about it. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I'm sorry, guys.
No problem. Does anybody else have any questions?
Well, thank you. Thank you guys so much for listening to me ramble about a university and a system that I've come to love so much. Keep sharing information. You know, that's my biggest thing. If you would just let people know that we're here and we actually want to help, we want to do some things or offer some programs that are needed in our community. So if you just pass on the information to one other person and say, hey, did you know about Alabama Extension? They're on Schillinger Road. They may have some positions available, who knows? So if you could do that for me, I'd appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks, Amelia. And yeah, I know we've done some, Gulf Corps has worked with the extension to get some training on different stuff in years past. So maybe we can continue that partnership and maybe do some 4-H work on some rainy days or something. So we'll reach out to you in this upcoming year.
Yeah.
We appreciate you.
I appreciate you guys too. Thank you for reaching out. Take care.
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cool. Well, next on the list is, well, the afternoon activities on the schedule. Again, these relate to our final day on Friday, so all those materials will be hopefully ready to go Friday. Let me know if you're unable to access